I think, yes, William Ruto had a field day because he was able to articulate, he was able to field the most difficult questions, which he had an opportunity to tackle.
Yes.
He didn't have time to have the back and forth with an opponent. But again, for me, it actually put him on the spot because the media was able to ask the questions that the ordinary Mwananchi wanted to ask.
Yes, such as the dam. I mean, even the start going with the dams were dropped to punish me, says Ruto. That's actually what they're headlining with. Those are one of the questions that people had in terms of integrity, the leadership and integrity section of the debate.
Kenyans have been talking a lot about, about the issues of integrity.
Yeah.
And the deputy president has been on the spot, especially on what people claim as high appetite for idle land.
Right.
And I think Eric Latif actually put that question across to him, to asking about the issue of how he has acquired land. The issue of Muteshi came up, the issue of the Taveta land came up, and some of the properties he has acquired. So actually from where maybe the public sits, this was a good forum where they were able to hold the deputy president, not just on the land issue, but how he has amassed his wealth, because that has also been another issue. The other issue has been the issue of ethics. Him as the person holding the second office in the land, how has he conducted himself in terms of even being in the campaign trail, the language he used, how he refers to his opponents. So those were some of the issues that came up, because when you talk about the leadership and integrity, it's not about the issues of corruption alone. It's also the issues of moral. How do you carry yourself? How do you talk to other people? Are you respectful? Do you respect who they are, the offices they hold? And he was very clear saying that he has never gone to belittle or call out his opponents. But in terms of the field, there are some words that are used, and I think he was not able to defend the issue of Kitendawili.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, surely, is in that context, is it really an insult? But even the Standard, they go with that as well in terms of the headline. They say Ruto tackles the hard questions. One of the hard questions I remember as I was watching, still on his appetite, or at least what was put as his appetite for idle land, and Eric Latif puts it to him and asks, Bonadipi, how much is enough?
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. I mean, he could have dropped the mic at that point, looking at it from whichever side of the political divide. Even Eric wanted to laugh at that response. I mean, it's almost like what, the side of Uhuru had to say one time about the land issue in the coast. And they said, willing buyer, willing seller, in their defense. But, I mean, everyone is talking about, Raila skipped this particular debate, but this is history repeating itself. And he was on the receiving end of standing there at the podium, not facing his main contender, and that is Uhuru, who also boycotted this exercise. And
that is why we were saying that he had the advantage that he was the incumbent that. When it comes to Raila, he doesn't have that advantage because he's still seeking that office, and this is his fifth term. So actually, this will have been his opportunity to actually come and tell Kenyans why his ticket is tick, for Kenyans to actually give him that position. And that didn't happen. And even if you look at some of the comments, people are saying, I think for the first time, he disappointed his supporters because that debate was not about him and William Ruto.
Would you say it was a cowardly move? Because Taifa Leo seems to think, or at least allude to that, when they say, sababu za Raila kukunja mkia, beg your pardon, sababu za Raila kukunja mkia, which in many ways would show some, someone being timid. And I mean, again, give it to Taifa Leo.
It depends with how you look at it, because even William, when he was asked that Raila had said he could not share a platform with him, and remember his response was that he lacks the agenda. He's not clear of what he wants. He's not his own candidate. He is a project. So I think if he had presented himself there, then you'd have had an opportunity to rebuttal and actually give, because we know that Azimio has a 10-point agenda for Kenyans. So when your opponent says you have no agenda and you have no opportunity to actually rebuttal and tell the opponent off, then I think, just as we had said, he acted in a cowardly way, because that is not the Raila Kenyans know. He is the Raila that goes head on, tackles the bull by its horn, and actually speak on the issues that Kenyans have known. He has been pro-reformist. He has fought for the democracy of this country. Now, this was the opportunity for him to tell Kenyans, all that I've fought for all those years, this is now my time to come and actually implement those things that have not been done.
I remember we were comparing notes and looking at how we felt that the debate went, and you actually told me, coming from your background covering Bunge for years, that you felt some questions thrown at the deputy president were not really for him in terms of, the fund and what have you.
Actually, when it comes to the issue of the IBEG, if you look at IBEG is a creation of the Public Finance Management Act, and it gives the Deputy President the opportunity to chair the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council meeting to ensure that money is shared between the two levels of government, the revenue raised annually. Now, the standoff that was in Parliament, and it lasted for a very long time, was the issue of how to share the equitable share, which in the Constitution had only settled on 14 counties to receive the money. But there was a back and forth in Parliament where members of Parliament felt that there were counties that were really in need of that fund more than actually the other counties that are actually been identified in the Constitution, and that is Article 204. So that actually tells you that as much as the Deputy President chairs the IBEG meetings, remember it is a precursor, a settlement for them to now go and adopt whatever they have discussed in IBEG at the summit, which is actually chaired by the president. And that is why questions have come about that why is it that what has been discussed at IBEG sometimes is vetoed in Parliament and it's vetoed by the executive. Because yes, it proposes, but it does not adopts. It only recommends, just like the Commission on Revenue Allocation recommends. And that is why whatever has been passed in IBEG comes back again. It's adopted in the summit and also comes to Parliament. Now,